Thanks for joining us on our streaming service for your First Alert avalanche forecast. I'm your First Alert meteorologist, Callie Zanandri. And joining me now is Brian Lazar from the Colorado Avalanche Information Center. Brian, Happy New Year.
Same to you. Happy New Year.
Well, Brian, it's a very happy New Year because we're finally getting some more snow in the high country Thursday night into Friday. And along with that, we're expecting the winds to pick up, rapidly increasing avalanche danger heading into the weekend.
Yeah, and in fact, it has spurred us to essentially issue a special avalanche advisory warning of dangerous avalanche conditions for the Elk and West Elk Mountains. And this includes the Ragged Range, the Ruby Range, and places just to the east towards Aspen and Crested Butte ski areas.
Now, the Colorado Avalanche Information Center doesn't issue special advisories very often. What's the motivation?
The motivation is it's a big uptick in avalanche danger that's coinciding with fresh snow, really nice weekend weather, and over a holiday weekend. When you combine all those ingredients, it gives us the recipe for an avalanche accident. So we want people to be on extra alert, particularly in the area of the Central Mountains that we just mentioned. And here's what we saw last time. So here's the storm that's rolling in. You can see we're going to get a widespread kind of 4 to 6 inches of snow. As this snow piles up, we're going to see some places, particularly in the Park Range, in those areas of the Central Mountains, are going to see a foot or even more. And that's going to lead to a fresh round of avalanche activity. This is the avalanche activity that took place the last time we got some fresh snow around the Christmas holiday. And we got a lot of these small but potentially dangerous wind slab avalanches that were breaking. And we're going to see a lot of that again for most of the state because, as you mentioned, the snow's coming in with a lot of wind. We do have in some parts of the state, not just in the Central Mountains, but areas of the Front Range as well, a persistent slab avalanche problem. And this is a more dangerous kind of avalanche, and then hence the special avalanche advisory in those areas in the Central Mountains. And what's happening is we have crusts that formed from that warm period, either from rain or melt crusts, and they have formed weak layers right around those crusts. And so we have avalanches breaking underneath the accumulating storm snow. And what's really dangerous about them is that they're behaving in really hard to predict ways. And this is a classic characteristic of a persistent slab avalanche problem, namely that they're being triggered from a distance. So here's a good example in the Marble area. And you can imagine how nasty it would be to take a ride in this. Another avalanche triggered from dozens of feet away. Again, not a lot of snow over those crust facet combinations, but if we add another foot or more on top of that, these avalanches are going to grow large enough to bury, injure, or kill a person. And here is another avalanche that was triggered from the skin track from below. So again, with persistent slab avalanche problems, not only can you trigger them from a distance, but you can trigger steep slopes that might be above you. So you need to be very cognizant of overhead hazard.
So if you're headed out this weekend, what should you be on the lookout for? I know lots of people are going to want to take advantage of all this fresh powder.
Yeah, and there's a couple, Mother Nature will give us a lot of clues. So for the wind slab avalanche problem, what we can look for are drifting snow. Plumes of drifted snow, like you can see in this image or in this little video clip. So you can see all that snow is being drifted. It creates those stiff slabs just on the downside or the leeward sides of these ridges. So anywhere you find or see this drifted snow, you're going to want to pay attention for stiff wind drifted slabs, particularly on slopes steeper than about 30 degrees. The persistent slab avalanche problem will also produce these long running shooting cracks. You might find shorter shooting cracks with the wind slab avalanche problem, but anytime you see these shooting cracks, audible wound finger collapsing, it's a really clear indication that you found this recipe of unstable snow that can produce the avalanches.
Well, a weekend to definitely check the forecast before you head out, as we are expecting those unpredictable conditions. Thank you so much for joining us, Brian, and we will see you back here next week for your First Alert Avalanche Report.
Thank you. Enjoy the new snow and stay safe.